The CFL is a leader in championing diversity. Their roots of inclusion run deep, and their commitment to reflecting the diversity of the nation where they play is exactly why they continue to be an important part of Canadian culture.
You're exactly right. When the league has always seemed to be much more open than the NFL. You know, as a Canadian here growing up, you know, I played quarterback, and if I was watching the NFL game, I would have never thought black guys played quarterback. But growing up watching the CFL, and Warren Moon is one of my favorite all-time football players. J.C. Watts, Conrad Holloway, really open your eyes and knew that there was an opportunity.
Well, I think the CFL's kind of got ahead just a little bit from the standpoint of, you know, I've been fortunate. I knew Bernie Custis, and, you know, for him to break a huge barrier in that way was amazing. And Chuck Ely and, you know, Warren Moon, and, you know, there was the CFL's been kind of groundbreaking, if you will, and trailblazing of sorts, moving forward and making things important, like with the diversity program. And, you know, women in football program, things like this, like we're paying attention and we're trying to be inclusive.
So in a sense, I'm proud that that's something that they've stood for, especially when I was playing. I remember that when it was first coming about, when you're thinking about the diversity, that's just something, the fabric of our country. If it's a CFL, that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be pushing that diversity. They're supposed to be pushing multiple, like, you know, understanding that it doesn't matter where you're from, where your family's from, you still can come out here and play football.
In 2022, they launched the Diversity in Football program, along with the Women in Football program, and since 2021 have been running the global draft, making tangible efforts towards inclusion.
With the Diversity in Football program has been huge to kind of get people like me. This has been my third season going in, and if I hadn't had that program, it would have been tough to show that I have the ability to coach at this level, and I think a lot of people do have that ability. They just don't have the opportunities and not exposed.
I have two people on my staff who went through those programs and got opportunities that they possibly may not have if it wasn't for that. Things are pretty diverse in this league, and certainly proud to be a part of it.
It's beautiful for the league just because it just shows that there's an open door policy. You know what I mean? Not everybody's opportunity is the same, but it's just having one and being able to, you know, put yourself in a situation where people can give you a chance to, you know, be great. Especially me coming from the United States and coming to Canada, that's another reason why I appreciate it, just because I'm in another country. You know, I know it's just right across the border and stuff like that, but you have to be appreciative of people, you know, embracing you.
Another thing I find that isn't spoken about nearly as much is also the global program. I think that allows us to have guys like Bless Mentala, who's from Hawaii, or a guy like Tyron. So you get to see a lot of multiculturalism and see different people walking in and out of the buildings with different kind of beliefs and also cultural norms. So I think that's been a pretty cool aspect of it as well.
The Canadian Football League understands that diversity is strength, and there's power in inclusion. And when you do things right, community can and will thrive.
You can't be what you can't see. And not necessarily you can't do these things, when you see people achieving these goals, or you see that they're also attainable for yourself. So I think seeing coaches like Dyce and seeing coaches like Mace, you see there's the possibility to kind of get your foot in the door and kind of progress through it that way.
You know, I always pride the CFL on really a league that builds itself from the inside out. You know, the NFL is $1 billion business and things like that, and rightfully so. But for us, it's about the relationships with the community. Like, the players, the coaches are accessible to the fans, and, you know, they're not roped off oftentimes. And I think the fans are just always evolving, and they just embrace the league, you know. And beyond the game itself, it's community. Like, without the fans, there's no CFL. Anytime you can come from all walks and just you get everybody together, it really is what football's about.